How are we all doing? We doing okay? Yeah, that's what we like to hear. Hope everyone had a safe trip and everything. Everyone's looking forward to this and everything else today. So, Eric, nice to meet you.
And you?
Yeah, thank you. Safe trip in?
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah, not too much traffic then?
No, I took the train.
That's a smart choice.
Yeah,
definitely is.
definitely.
So, obviously, you are here because of Tomb Raider, and everyone knows you as Kurtis Trent, predominantly, as that's one of the main secondary characters to players in the game. One of the first. But what was your personal introduction to the series yourself? What was it that got you intrigued with it?
Well, I knew the first couple of games. I've been very aware of it. I think everybody was, unless you're playing them. But
yeah.
And it was, Lara was pretty popular even back then.
That's an understatement, yes.
And it was such a cool thing. But they don't tell you, do they? When you audition for a video game, they don't actually tell you what it's for necessarily.
No.
They don't think they made up a fake name, which is what they do always now.
They do that a lot, actually, and half the time it doesn't work.
It doesn't, but it was unclear even then. But I was aware, I think by the time I got cast, that's what it was for.
Yeah.
And as all of you who know who play Angel of Darkness, there was a lot of promises made to me about where it was going.
Yes.
And I thought, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, no, it does. When you read all the design documents that Murti has posted online and everything that you've absorbed, and I've absorbed certainly from doing the retrospective, it sort of gives you a big, broad picture of what the series was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the idea and the vision that you were sold on. When
sort
you
of. Well, put it this way. They said yes. I was like, yeah, okay. The chance to play anyone that's, I say this, but he was a cool looking guy. He's a cool guy. And anytime you get someone like that, you go, yeah, I'll play that. He never gets older. That's even better.
Yeah, it's very true. It definitely does have that perk going for it, that's for sure. So you personally, a bit about your history, you've gone from working in shows like Medics back in 1990 to landing a part in Steven Spielberg's war epic Saving Private Ryan back in 1998. What was it about video games in particular that you found so compelling, and what led to you auditioning for Tomb Raider?
Well, I think I can't remember. I can't remember the name of the games. I've done a few before that, and it was very early days of video games. But it was, as a voice artist, it gives you a lot of freedom because you can play a lot of different characters that you have in your head that don't necessarily look like you. And so it gives you a real challenge. And you think, it's like doing mask work in theater. You kind of, when you do mask work, you kind of put the mask on and you go, what does this person move like? How does it sound from the mask? And so with a voice, when you get the picture of the character, you know that's who you have to become.
That's the mask you have to wear, essentially.
Yeah.
So it must have been quite a culture shock going from acting in front of other people on a set to then being stuck in a small audio booth recording various grunts, groans, strains, and voice lines like "time to die, monkey." One of my personal favorites. There's actually a lot of monkey lines that you actually did record when I went through and had a listen to it.
But that game was different. I think that's why it holds up. Because Murti, first of all, he had us in the booth. So Janelle and I were in the booth. Joss and I were in the booth. Everybody was in the booth together. And Murti's sitting on the other side of the glass, just super excited about it. And if we started going, so we gave us the time to develop, a real camaraderie and kind of, I think that whole kind of noir kind of sexual, non-sexual. I know we're not supposed to touch anymore, but I know that's an issue still. But you know what I mean? Back then it was, and Janelle and I, it was exciting. It was like we were really creating something. And compared to the other video games where you're standing by yourself and doing, do all these hits, do all these grunts by yourself.
Yeah, which I've heard.
Yeah,
multiple times.
That did exist, but and Murti was just so much fun to work with because he was, besides being the writer, I think somehow we encapsulated exactly as he heard it.
Right.
And so he was really excited and said, "Try it. Let's try it." So we tried things, and we were involved. Quite often in video games, it's not that they're not interested, but quite often nowadays, they don't want to tell you what the game is about.
No.
What's actually happening besides what you're doing.
Well, especially nowadays with spoiler culture being a massive thing, you don't want people accidentally revealing any kind of plot points.
No,
that
exactly.
You're an important character to a twist that's happening in the main event or something.
Yeah, and you send an NDA for everything.
Yeah, absolutely everything. So when you were recording, did you have to rigidly stick to the textbook of Murti Schofield, or did you have wiggle room to be able to improvise and do your own thing?
I think his lines were so good that we pretty much stuck to what he wrote.
Nice.
And I think it was just more the nuance, that relationship between the two of us, trying to make it kind of
happen. And I think he did change a few things if he decided. I don't think we were actively going, can I change this line? And I think that was really.
So you didn't have a chance to sort of be able to riff off of what Janelle had just said and then sort of do your own thing to add here. I think this would sound better, that type of thing.
Because it was written so well. I think
Murti spent so much time on that game. I mean, I think this is why it's lasted so long. You know, his writing's really good. It was very iconic. You know, and I kind of he hit his style. He hit a style that everybody just like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and you all kind of just vibed with it.
We did. We totally did.
Sort of
situation. You know, Joss was also amazing. You know.
Yeah.
And but Janelle's great to work with. So and I think we just had fun. So I think.
With all the people that you've worked with on the project to do with Angel of Darkness, I'm going to skip ahead to another question I was going to ask you. Was you and Murti seem to be quite good mates.
We've become very good mates.
You have, yeah. Is there anyone else from the Angel of Darkness cast, or even from Core Design, that you still keep in touch with?
Just Janelle. Well, when I hadn't seen Janelle until we did this event two or 3 years ago, I think it was. And it was the first time I'd seen her since we'd done the game.
Of course, yeah.
And we just reminded ourselves how much fun we'd had.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we've been kind of friendly since then. And I've seen her a few times at different events, but also kind of stayed in touch. And, you know, started to work with her again.
Yeah, it's amazing how people do just like in projects just drift apart naturally over the course of time, and then some things like this just kind of reawaken those bonds that you may have just still had over many years, which is quite nice for you to say that you've actually rekindled that.
Yeah, definitely.
And especially with Murti as well, and especially with Janelle.
Yeah, Murti and I kind of, you know, I started following his work, his books right away once he'd written them, and then I started following a lot of other stuff he'd written, and I was very interested in it all. And we kind of would see each other if he came into town. We'd have a coffee and meet people. But it was really, I think, was when Ash organized the kind of re-record of the symphonic music that it all of a sudden kind of came back together again.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, do you know, this is a really amazing thing, and it kind of lifted the whole game again.
Yeah,
back into
the public eye.
Yeah.
Especially with the advent of the remasters now being a thing, which I think we're all here very much glad for them to be existing. Yeah. Very much glad.
I mean, that's super cool. Yeah. It's amazing. I mean, I was very impressed. I think it looks great, you know.
Well, speaking
blue eyes now, you know, that's cool.
Well, yeah, speaking of which, I want to show them the second slide. Thank you. You've received a little bit of a glow up, huh? Yeah. What do you think?
I wish I could do that in real life.
I don't really. But it's not just the looks that have been amended. There is actually also an entire arsenal now available at players' disposal that Kurtis wasn't able to use before, but it was actually all part of the design document.
That's right.
This is all thanks to Tyrannica for this footage, by the way, if anyone who knows her. Basically, you've got the Psychic Shield ability now brought into it. You've got far more melee moves. You've got far more of the Chirugai. I hope I've said that right. That's now being integrated into full combat too. That's all thanks to the remasters. But you've also got a whole bunch of restored voice lines that have come back. And we were talking about this obviously off camera. There was a whole bunch of lines that we discovered that you didn't end up getting put into the main game, regardless.
I mean, there were a few leaked. I remember one time there was somebody had found some and leaked them online.
Yeah, so that Norse chick, shout outs to her, there's a whole video where she's basically posted every single voice line in Angel of Darkness, including Kurtis' lines. I highly recommend you check it out, because there are some very interesting lines. Are there any that you can possibly replicate for us today?
What are they?
Well,
that's the great thing about voice acting, you don't have to learn anything. You do need glasses.
Oh, goodness, you put me on the spot.
No, you put me on the spot.
Are there any kind of like grunts and groans that you can recreate there?
No, but I was saying to you that the first time I saw your website online, and you made fun of my final grunt before I died.
The fake die. We don't know.
Okay.
It could still be.
Here we go, and I agree with you. So I think if something ever comes up, I'll redo that.
Yeah.
It was a...
Yeah, it's like... Has anyone got any lines that you want Kurtis to say? Anyone that can think of?
Hey, hang on a second. It's funny because I sent to Murti, I said, come on, Murti, what lines... He was supposed to be here today, and he's not well, and I should apologize for him. But I was really hoping he would be here because he's quite a lot of fun to have on stage.
Yeah.
But he sent me a whole page. I was like, no, I'm not going to do the game. But the problem is you just go, I mean, for me, see, this is the funny thing. For me as a voice actor, there's a lot of those lines when we're in the Louvre, and I'm telling the exposition, and I think, wow, how I was able to sustain the exposition.
Yeah.
So it felt like, I thought that for me was like, okay, that was cool for me, but I can't do it now. I could never recreate it. I mean, but there was one line I really did like, but I just like the way I kind of went, Miss Croft. You know what I mean?
Miss Croft, yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was
So
good.
whilst you're looking for that, I'm going to ask if you've had any fans reach out to you personally since the remasters have actually dropped. Have you gained any new followers because of it? Any new fans?
I don't know. I've noticed it out there, but no one's actually specifically gotten in contact with me.
Like a renewed interest, perhaps, maybe?
No, the renewed interest, and also even from, all of a sudden, Crystal Dynamics seemed interested.
Yeah.
Like, hello. will you do something for us for free?
Yeah, no.
No,
AI.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. They hold that over you, the AI, isn't it?
Yeah.
Nowadays.
So, speaking of AI, actually,
Yes.
there was one question that I did want to ask.
Yeah.
Something that came out was obviously the restoration of your voice lines that were cut, but also there was a recent controversy about AI voice lines being used recently in the remasters for the French and I think the Italian voice actors, for the non-English speaking voice lines. Because of that, would you be comfortable to work on Tomb Raider again if you were given the chance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
I'd love to do it.
With the advent of voice replication in AI,
Yeah, I mean, the
what
thing
sort of
is-
things do you get concerned about?
Well, the problem is they have to sign a contract. I mean, there was a big hoo-ha between equity voice actors and the business industry. And supposedly we've come to terms with that,
Because that famous case where there's a friend of mine, she basically did all these kind of in-house medical stuff, and they said, "Can we use AI for the actual site?" And she said she signed a contract that said, "We'll never use it for anything else, just for this medical information." And she was in Scotland on a train. She heard her voice being used for the Scottish Rail.
No way.
And they'd taken it, and they said, "Well, we didn't use it. We sold it on." So this is the big case. You see, this is the big problem.
Yeah.
So they've taken her voice and generated it for whatever they want.
So nowadays, contracts, I could imagine, would have to be super watertight.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, the truth is, it's very hard to protect anything like that if it's out there.
Mm.
So you could clone a beat. You can clone something.
Yeah.
And then there's a lawsuit, but it is tricky.
It's worrying.
I can imagine it is, because obviously it's your livelihood and everything. And obviously, the danger is also they can make you say whatever they
That's
want
the problem,
to as
right?
well.
I mean, because Jenny Millward, who did the books, the fan books, she did an audio book as well. And there's a guy, I can't remember what his name is, who did my character. And in some of the lines, he's right on it and just kind of like, wow, that guy's really nailed my voice in that place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's not going out and being me in other games. I hope not. But you know what I mean? That's where the problem comes.
Yeah, of course.
Why not hire him for twice as much?
Well, yeah. Ideally, we would want you.
Well, ideally,
to come back.
but-
That'd be the best case scenario. But a hypothetical I want to pose to you now.
Yeah.
It's 2002, long
Yeah.
time ago, I know. Angel of Darkness is a huge commercial critical success. Hypothetical. A sequel is already in the works, and you've been brought back to voice Kurtis again.
Yes.
What would you have liked to have seen in that character to get up to after his seemingly fatal encounter with Boaz? I think there's someone dressed as Boaz in the crowd, actually. What would you like his fate to be left a mystery, or that?
Well, but I
you
think
want to happen?
it is kind of, you get a good idea that he's right, because he kind of leads Lara out using his powers, correct? So I mean, I think it's kind of clear that something's going on. There's a little blood around.
Yeah.
So I think it's clear that he's all right.
Yeah,
And
but
he's
what would you
gonna-
like to see him do in the next sort of chapter?
Well, take the whole game by himself. Right? Maybe have a few dates with Lara. I don't know.
Right on the back of my motorbike, maybe. They could go through town.
You're selling me on the idea already.
Yeah.
I like it. Another hypothetical for you now. The next Tomb Raider game is on the horizon at some point. It's a fresh start for Lara, and that's going to be to bring the adventures of her past and the future together with the whole unification idea that they keep talking about. If you were in charge of the franchise, in its current state, What would you like to see happen in the next game and perhaps the series' future?
Well, you know, what I would do is actually ask the fans what they want.
It's a very good answer.
Because they know. And I just want to say, you know, from you know, once I got back into that world, I mean, I know we're going to lead into this again, but for me, part of the reason why I keep coming to these things and I really like them is because I was amazed at the talent in the fan base, especially for Angel of Darkness. I was kind of overwhelmed by it, kind of blown away by how talented everybody was, and it inspired a lot of people to do art and other things in their livelihood. And I just thought, wow, what an amazing group to be involved with. You know, I mean, Jenny is incredible. She writes and also does figurines. Her husband does figures and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it's also, you know, just working with them and just seeing all the stuff that they're creating. I just think, wow, well, that's why they should ask. Because you can't help, you've been imagining what the story's going to be, right? Everyone has a new take on a new idea, and it's like, you know what? That's where the source is.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, because they know that game better than the people. I mean, Crystal Dynamics is worried about this bit franchise and that thing in there, and you know, I think it's the fans that know.
Yeah, and it's the fans that make what you're watching up there happen. A whole bunch of very talented fans were hired to basically bring everything back from the dead, so to speak, and to remaster some absolute classic.
I mean, they were doing it
titles.
anyways, right? That's the point.
Yeah, they're going to do it anyways, and redoing it, and it's like, well, we better do it.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, they're going to do it, and it'll move on.
Yeah, and it might be terrible or something, but you never
I don't know. I mean, you know.
I don't
So, did you know that, obviously, members of the audience might not know that Kurtis Trent, Eric Loren, has an album on Spotify that you can listen to called Soul Migration. It was back in 2004, I believe it was released.
Yeah.
Did you know that a track from that, All This World, was actually included in the playlists, I think it's the Lara playlist on Spotify that was made by Crystal Dynamics. And did you know that that was included in everything?
I didn't know. I mean, I'm very happy, but I saw somebody had put up, I don't know if they're here, but someone had made a kind of video using Lara and Kurtis, and I was like, wow, that's so cool.
Yeah, that might have been Norsk as well. I can't
And then there's somebody who's done the remaster as well.
Yeah.
A little short of the remaster.
Oh, that's cool.
But I didn't know that. And I thought, wow, that's really nice. You know?
Can you tell us a little bit more about your musical side to your life? How did that album come to be?
Well, I mean, really, when I was growing up, my brother was one of these guys that could pick up any instrument and play it, like, properly. And he was in a band, he played the drums, played the bass, played the guitar, and I was just like, wow, that's really good. And we had a similar singing voice, you know, and so the deal was always, if you get signed, I'll sing backgrounds with you, kind of thing. And so when I was growing up and we got older, his band had all this stuff in our basement all the time. And it turns out that I could kind of play the drums and kind of play the keyboards and kind of play it, and just thought I was useless because he was so good at it. I never really thought about it. So when I came over here, and my mother for some reason had this, you do the acting, he does the music. And I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, yeah, but if he gets signed, great, I'm coming on tour with you when you sing backgrounds.
They're talking to your brother.
Yeah, and he had a deal with like Rondo and RCA, and it fell through, and he was living over here, and then he went back. Anyways, long story short, I did a play in my final year at Central, and I had to learn how to play guitar. And I started playing the guitar, and I just started writing. It just kind of fell out of me, you know? And I got to the point where I started showing my brother, and he went, I think you might be good enough that we can work together. So we started doing a little thing together when I was doing Medics. It was kind of early days of 4-tracks, kind of really.
All the way back then?
Yeah, we were doing 4-track stuff. And then we started writing. I went for a few, because he had a lot of record company meetings, and they knew my brother when I would go in, and they said, your brother's a really good musician, why don't you do real songs? I was like,
real songs?
Yeah, because we were doing beats. And
what is she class as real songs?
Well, we had kind of beats, and I had this amazing guitar player who we worked with. They're kind of, you know, I can't remember they were more beats led and kind of stuff like that. Anyway, so we eventually started writing together, and he had a band of amazing players that were like, had all been in bands that were signed and dropped. This guy who's like a jazz genius guitarist, who's a solo jazz player, and then me. And so anyways, we got a production deal to record this in this big studio, and where Aerosmith was and all this kind of stuff. We went over and made this album in '95, and then we had a deal that was kind of like, if you don't get signed for a year, you don't owe us the £60,000 we just gave you. And I was like, so we were taking our time, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, I would too.
and then it was and then these record companies in LA wanted us to come out and fly over there, and all the band then said, well, it's your music, you've written it all, you have to pay us all to go over there. And I was like, because you see, the thing is, I didn't know this. Back in the day, you have 2-inch tape, right? Everyone was recording on 2-inch tape. Those guys would just stick it on their credit cards. They all had like 30 to 50,000 pounds of debt, thinking, yeah, so they were all like, we don't have any money. And I just come to it from the acting side, you know, and it was like a real awakening.
I can imagine.
So I got management here. Anyways, the long and short of it is, the tape sat in the studio. We had a digital recording of it. And then the guy who owned the studio flipped out, shredded all the tapes and threw them out the window.
Really?
Yeah, so I have a digital copy of the tape, but it was never finished.
I was never properly mastered.
Yeah, never properly. Oh, we kind of, so it's out there. So I have it, but I've never released it. My brothers won't let me do it. So
yeah, I was going to say, well, our next question was actually going to be, have you thought about a follow-up to that album?
Yeah, well, the thing is, so just to go quickly, I suppose this, but is after that, my brother and I did kind of, we'd go around just two listening to like tight harmony acoustic stuff. And then I met this guy who's an amazing player and a producer, and he said, I wanted to reproduce my album. That's when I found out that things got shredded. And I just went to him and said, look, I got these new tracks. One of them I didn't get to do on the album. I said, I have no idea how I want to do it. Let's just go and see what happens.
Yeah.
So I did 4 songs, and we just kept going like that. But it was really me also going, I was just starting. I was like, I'm ready. My brother's like, I think I'm done. You
were both kind of sailing in different directions.
Yeah, sort of. But he's kind of, you know, and I just wanted to go. And then I did another song, which I haven't put out yet, which I'm going to maybe put out. It inspired me when you said playlist, this new song, which I think is probably the best on the album.
I think we'd all be keen to hear it, wouldn't we?
Yeah?
Yeah?
No, I won't put it out then.
Yeah. So bringing it back to your voice acting career for a second. Yeah. Throughout your acting career, you've had been involved in various high-profile projects like the Division, Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, and the Horizon series. What was your approach to bringing the character of Kurtis to life? How does it compare to bringing someone to life like Travis Tate from Horizon?
Well, I mean, Travis Tate, you see, this is the thing. And this is where Murti did an amazing thing by having us be together and work on it properly. Like we were doing a play. You know, we actually had time to talk about the character, talk about the background, you know, talk about how the scene's supposed to move before you start recording. It made all the difference. Travis Tate, I walked in and there was a screen. They said, just read it a couple times and tell us what you think. And I was like, I mean, they're great monologues, don't get me wrong. I went, oh, I know exactly who this guy is. And I just kind of went that and went, yeah, that's it. Just slow it down a bit.
Sussed him out pretty quickly.
Fairly quickly, because he was talking about his mom and all that kind of stuff in the back. You know, it was like, it was very clear. But I just thought, because I'd already done the Division, I think, when that came out. And the Division, we originally did was mocap. The character I did was mocap, was supposed to be in it. And we did a kind of, I think it's like a 20-minute thing here in London. And then they recast, I think, the woman who played the main part. They cast her from America. And my guy all of a sudden just became the voice on the radio. But you know, there would be like 15 pages of monologues. And we just sat there. That was better because we sat there really working out the monologues, trying to figure out what's going on. And in the first game, in the fourth game, I walked in and they're like, here's your monologues, let's get it done and get you out of here. And I think that sometimes works a little bit, but it doesn't, you never get the resonance of the character and the depth of it that you do.
Yeah.
Like with this one. And I think it just makes a big difference.
Yeah, you know? Being able to bounce off other people.
Totally. I mean, I get it. You know, it's very rare nowadays. I won't do it because it's just too expensive. Quite often you might hear a line read to you by some director in another country.
Yeah, and I can imagine the delivery of that. Not quite the same?
Not quite the same, no. But you know, I was going to say to you, this last one I did, I actually said, can you send me the scripts? And they said, we don't send out the scripts unless you have dyslexia. And you kind of go, okay.
Fair.
But to be fair, the director was very good about it. It was this game, Wizardry. And he knew the game. So he would give you where it should go. Because, you know, there's one of these games that has 3 or 4 different voicings in the same character. Anger, this, nicer, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
But I tell you, when you can just sit there across from another actor and really try and experiment, it just makes it so much fun.
Yeah, and you did sound like, if you, again, refer to the video that I shouted at earlier, you can actually hear outtakes where you are in between lines just laughing with Murti or getting voice directions from Murti over comms or whatever. Yeah. And it does really give that kind of, not really homely atmosphere, it's a kind of like a bit more of a group vibe rather than it being like a...
Yeah, we're kind of doing it together,
like
we're working towards something.
Corporate
camaraderie.
Yeah, a bit more camaraderie, which I think is quite important in some projects like this.
I mean, I don't know if anyone's seen the pictures online of us in the studio. We're having a laugh, you know. I think it comes out. I think it kind of permeates the work.
Yeah. So, what is it you've got going on in your life at the moment? Is there anything in particular that you are working on that you'd like to talk about?
This is into the Murti thing.
Yes, it is.
It is. That's a nice little segue. Yes. So as I was saying to you, when I basically,
Sorry.
Back one.
What was it?
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So when I started doing it, when we did that re-recording, it kind of came. Murti had written these books, and for a long time he had a high-end agent going around the country, and for something happened, and I just said to him, "Hey Murti, can I try and take your books and develop into something, into a series or into this?" So then I started with a TV series idea, and then it kind of moved into something else. And then when I started meeting all the fans, I thought, you know what, let's, and especially Jenny as well, because she's really great. And I asked her we would throw how do you set up the IP for this from a book? Because the main character, I was saying to you, the main character is 13, but she's kind of, she's not really, she's an 85-year-old who's going back through recycling of this angel, kind of as a kind of caterpillar coming out. Metamorphosis, yeah. And the cocoon is this town, and it's incredible. And then as soon as we discover who she is, it all of a sudden just takes off, and it's a real kind of scary ride from then on.
Interesting.
And for a TV thing, to launch it just straight into something like that, you're talking about an afternoon slot because you have kids, and so it's a different thing. So I was thinking, well, it's also, I wanted, with the fans, discussing with Chris and the other people, it's like, it wants to be intense. You want to maintain the intensity that they had. And so we just put this teaser together and thought, let's just see how we go and see what happens. And luckily, it's got Jenny wrote the original dialogue on it, based on with Murti always there in the background,
always watching,
and Chris editing it, and I went and recorded these different voice actors that I knew and myself, and then Dean did the music, which was amazing. He does it, and there was also somebody, I can't remember what his name was, who had done these monsters from years ago, and we brought those back into it, and my friend John Brosnan, who's a great engineer, worked with him. So this was our first thing that we did. And we're moving on from that, and now Janelle's agreed to be in it, which is fantastic, and her daughter playing Cody, who's the main part. So that you won't see now, but that's coming.
Yeah.
So for me, the thing is, I wanted to show it here because this is the direction I think Murti was actually working on the Shadow Histories when they came to him for Angel in Darkness. It's got that same kind of searching for spiritual answers through these kind of conspiracy ideas and worlds, like these past civilizations, and it's got a similarity to it, and the chameleon wars and the good and evil and the whole.
Very much in keeping with the vibe of
it
what
is.
It's not
It's exactly the same, but it's the same author. It's the same idea, and I just think it's fantastic. And I just thought, well, if we can do it together and we do it in the right way, let's see how we build. So, anyways, here this is what we came up with at our first attempt.
Side time. A snowfield near Skakeborg.
Side time is an interweaving of parallel events and realities.
A girl stumbles into a clearing, falling over in the snow. She wears only a thin surgical shift and heavy iron-buckled boots. Her visible skin is blue with cold. Her teeth chatter, and she's gasping painfully for breath. Weeping and frantic, she tries to unfasten the straps of her boots. She glances over her shoulder into the shadows of the forest. Behind her, she can make out two figures approaching. The girl struggles to rise and keeps running. She flees like a bird with a broken wing, frozen, exhausted, and encumbered by her boots.
These parallel worlds are hidden, yet may be revealed at key moments or of intersection.
She finally collapses. The snow is falling harder. The strangers approach.
Immorahim, Belerimas.
Nethialensu.
We hear the metallic zinging of weapons being drawn.
Bene. Immorahim, bene.
And see the two strangers, both in silhouette, draw staff-like weapons, load staffs. The girl can barely move anymore. Her hand claws at the ground. Her hair and body are being swiftly covered by snow. She gazes up helplessly at the dark shapes of the strangers looming over her.
Such intersections are often glimpsed in our dreams.
Akatan drapes his cloak around the girl, lifting her gently from the snow.
You're safe. We have you now.
Kulwas guards their backs, scanning the dark forest. The howls are growing even louder.
We need to go. Now.
And we will. I'll hold them off.
The girl whimpers as Akatan passes her over to his twin sister, Kulwas.
No one is leaving anyone. Immorahim. Belerimas.
Kulwas gently lowers the girl to the ground at her feet, still bundled in the cloak. The girl looks fearful, but gazes at Kulwas and her brother with awe.
Together. Always.
Always.
The twins, Kulwas and Akatan, assume a defensive stance over the girl. Lightning flashes, thunder rumbles as the howlings draw closer. Unseen creatures snarl and gibber from the shadows as the snowstorm intensifies. A golden light begins to suffuse the twins and their weapons. They stand defiant, almost angelic, ready to face the horrors of the dark. The Shadow Histories.
That was really cool, man.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
So the thing is,
That doesn't-
right, I'm trying to, I need to build the IP, right? So, because, in this day and age, nobody wants anything that hasn't been done before. So if you're building a new IP, but, Jasmine Steiner did all these drawings. I don't know if you know her work out there. You must have seen, she's amazing. And as is Dean, and Chris is really good. But the thing is, can you, no.
Microphones, please.
Hello? Oh, well. Can you hear me back there?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 years
All
of
good.
Central. No. So the thing is that those two twins that you see when we originally did it, that's actually Cody, this young girl who's 12. That's her life that falls apart. And so it was kind of like, well, how do we bring that in? So the next iteration of that's going to have Janelle and her daughter, who's playing Cody. But originally, I wanted to make it so it was kind of like a cutscene series. So you kind of maybe have 10 minutes at a time, you come into it, or an audio series. We have an audio series now, it's kind of written, but I think there's something about it kind of almost being like a
visual novel.
A visual novel, yeah, but that moves. What do you think? I mean, what do you guys think? Would you watch that?
Yeah, hell yeah.
And okay, so let me ask you this then. So I'm going to be sending out, once we get the next phase going, sending out stuff. I say I'm going to do it. Of course, it's not me. But through TikTok and Instagram and little snippets, Chris has done amazingly well with, and bringing you to this website for this new series. And then, if you wouldn't mind, or anyone you want to bring to it, any fan base you want, is to get emails and start raising money to try and make this ourselves from
100%.
within. And if we can do that, then I'm going to go and approach the big companies and see if we can get some work. Because right now also, I've gone to a bunch of people and it's been very, very positive. But if you go to Amazon with an audio series, they then own all the TV rights and everything. And it's like everything's gone. And for me personally, and I'm sure you feel the same way, I want to get this done for Murti.
Yeah.
Because I think he's fantastic and he deserves it.
That's really cool. And I just love watching the excitement across your face.
I'm
when you're
totally
talking
excited.
about this, you're so animated and you're so into whatever it is Murti is selling.
Yeah.
And with this project and everything, it's very interesting and it's very much coded to what we're used to with his work.
Yeah,
and what
definitely.
we've been exposed to at least. So I'm sure I can speak on behalf of everyone here that will definitely be looking to support you in any way
I
we
really
can.
appreciate that, and
with that.
it's also supporting all the people and who you're with in the fan base as well, because they're fantastic.
Get a Kickstarter started.
Yeah, I think we'll try that. What I'll do is if I can get the names, and we'll send you to there once it comes. I mean, obviously, we'll try that because I think, with graphic novels, that's how they raise all the money for all the graphic novels. And it was interesting because I spoke to this one guy who said, "This is what you need to do." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And I looked, and I think it sold like 18 million in the first copy. And I thought, oh, maybe I should listen to this guy.
So I think we will take some questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would say that we got a microphone to roam around, but that doesn't appear to be the case. So I think just try and project. Anyone want to put their hands up if they want to ask Eric a question?
Yeah, up there in the back.
Yeah.
What was it like being another main character in the franchise alongside a long, running character, like Lara Croft? Like, how did you feel being in that landscape, voicing Kurtis and portraying this adventure alongside hers?
That's a good question.
Well, yeah, I mean, so at the time, it was all in the wraps. The potential was just exciting to be involved. Even, I think they sold it also as there's the potential of them maybe, becoming a couple or interest that kind of direction, and we want to, not play that, but just open up the possibility of it. But the thing that, Janelle was flown, they offered me this, and it's the one thing I was so angry at my voice agent, to fly to LA to do interviews as the character in this kind of booth. And for some, I don't know what, it was my old voice agent. And she just pushed the numbers to the point where they said no. And it would have been the best experience. And then I would have been able to answer that question properly because I would have seen what it was like to be sitting next to her as her sidekick. But, the expectation, but like I said, once I realized that people were really interested and dressed up and how cool he was, I just thought, it's a pleasure to do that, And you just hope, when people come to these events, they go, that old guy, that can't be him.
That Kurtis Trent fellow?
That Kurtis Trent?
No.
Boy, he's gone downhill.
Right, who's next? Do you want to pick one?
Yeah, go on.
So thank you. I just wondered, obviously you spoke about the experience of making Angel of Darkness and you kind of working in the studio and things together. How does it feel the weeks and the months after it's released into the wild? This passion project that you guys worked on, how does that feel to kind of release it and see how the public reacts to it?
Well, it was very interesting because when it first came out, I got a copy of the game from my Macintosh, and I just couldn't get out of Paris. I couldn't get. I was like, oh. So I was sitting there, and my son, I think he must have been 8 or 9 at the time. I said, "Can you please let me see what I've done?" And I have to say though, when I came back to it, I thought they did such a great job, especially the first scene when they meet. I was really, I didn't animate that. We didn't do the motion capture on it, but the tension that's there is incredible that they captured that. So I was really thrilled, to be honest with you. Just that what we thought we were doing vocally was mimicked with the animation and with the music and the style that they did. You just thought, wow, that came out so well. And I think in some ways it was why I was really disappointing that some of the other stuff didn't come out, because Murti's ideas and the graphics and the whole team that was working on it, I think it was just down to money when it came down to it. They just couldn't get it done, but their ideas were there, and you just thought, what a shame. And so there were a couple of years in between before it kind of took off with the resurgence that you just thought never really got there. So, I know I've talked to Murti about it a lot, and once you realize it was just underneath, it was happening. It's great to kind of see the fans and realize that there was the work you thought you did that I liked, people actually appreciated.
It seems like a labor of love, the making of behind the scenes of it. So.
Yeah, it was, and even now it's like, that's why I brought Janelle back into it, because it's like, since we started chatting, it's like, she's great fun. Sorry, just behind you there's somebody as well, yeah.
We have a microphone now, so
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I wasn't sure what, sorry, if there's more you wanted to say, it's just I saw him walking with the mic and I wasn't sure.
Thank you.
on time.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Just a quick question about Kurtis, really. What's your favourite thing about the character, and is there anything that you dislike about the character as well?
I suppose the thing I liked about him is that they captured him in their drawing of him. He's just this iconic character. It's like, he's just so cool, honestly. You know, and if I can just associate with him, I'm happy with that, you know? I mean, you know, when I was doing it, I was in this hard rock band, I kind of had leather jackets, and when I walked in for Kurtis, I
a shirt like this.
yeah, I had my long sleeve shirt on, you know, my leather jacket, and I kind of thought, you know, it's a funny thing with voiceover, especially if you're coming for the young main part. They kind of cast people that are like that. I don't know, there's something about, you know, I was kind of playing that as well, but I thought, yeah, so I mean, I just feel lucky that it's so cool. You know what I mean? Yeah, if I'm honest.
I think we got another one.
Yeah, over there, or anywhere. You're picking now.
I don't need the microphone. I was just going to ask, is there anything that you've taken from your time as Kurtis, or is there a part of you that you gave to Kurtis as Eric?
What was it that I've gained, did you say?
Yeah.
Or gave to?
Did you give something that's
Well, of
Eric
myself.
to Kurtis, or did you take something good as Kurtis and give it to yourself?
I don't know. I don't really know how to answer that question.
Did you absorb Kurtis's personality more, or did you bring more of Eric's personality into Kurtis?
No, I think again, it was that kind of that. It was the mask thing that I was talking about. When because I saw the drawings of it, and I know, for example, because Murti's only told me. I only found this out like last year that he told me what he actually said and why he cast me, and I think I was really happy that I kind of moved towards bringing that picture to life in a way that well, one, I think from Murti's reaction, I knew that I was on the right path. And I think from doing that, it's stuck with me how to do that again in games, and it kind of gave me a way to work, which I think was helpful to me. Does that answer it? Okay.
Here we go next. Hands up.
There's hands in. He's not to see. He's all right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hi Eric,
Hey.
if you had your own spin-off series with Kurtis Trent, would you write or record your own story for the game?
Huh. Probably, you know. I mean, you know, the thing was when I heard
What else was on that list? Like Nirvana was on that playlist and stuff like that. That was kind of the area that we were writing stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd love to, but I kind of think, you know, there's a symphonic side to it. It's always wants to be part of that game. I think, you know, it needs to be in there. And obviously, you know, I mean, Dean is amazing, but obviously the guys who wrote it originally were amazing. So I wouldn't mind having one of my tracks in there. You know, pushing it.
It's kind of almost with it being in the playlist.
Yeah, but the earlier stuff was much more, you know, it was hard, you know, intense. It was very melodic. It was like riffing, guitar riffing, and big drums, and you know.
Very YouTube coders.
Well, U2 kind of more somewhere like Stone Temple Pilots in between there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, nice. Anyone from this side of the room got a question? Yeah.
There's one there too, and then there's there.
Thank you. Do you need to? I love your voice there, and like the narration voice is amazing. It reminds me a lot of which I think one of my favorite voices in the TX series, like the first two games. The narration, so it reminds me a lot of when you've done that.
Uh-huh.
My question is, like, do you need to lower the pitch when you do narration?
Do I need to
Lower the pitch, or you just talk?
Well, no. Well,
No,
not.
it's in like.
It's
I don't mean to slow down, but you
No.
also lower the pitch.
Well, the way I look at it is, do you ever do anything in the sound engineering side? You know when you kind of have reverb and you move the thing around the room? It's like that. So you have your resonators in your voice here. So I know that it's coming there.
Yeah.
But if I'm not on mic, you're never going to hear it. Sometimes the character wants to come through your nose, so it comes out slightly differently. It just so you're basically shading it with your mouth.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of how I do it.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah.
Who's next? Who have we got today? Look at that. It's you, Daniel. Let's go. See if we can reach it. Awesome.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hey man.
Just want to apologies if you've been asked this a million times, you know, for social media and interviews and everything. But at the time when the AOD trilogy was planned, or even like when the game first came out, obviously it ended on like a cliffhanger, and it was the story was to progress. Did the likes of you and Murti have an idea of the sort of the route you were going to take with Kurtis had the trilogy been completed?
Well, I know Murti did.
I think now, I mean, I only found that out recently, but I mean, I didn't know, and I think that, I might be wrong, but I know Jenny talked to Murti, so those books, I think that she wrote that pushed the story onwards. I think she had information from Murti about where he wanted to take it and what the plans were. So there were always plans, yeah. We never really had that conversation until recently. So yes, I didn't know, but they did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Anyone else? You over there, the jackets.
Love the jackets.
Go for it.
What are your fondest memories from the recording sessions?
I mean, honestly, one, working with Janelle, but
Murti's reaction was just sometimes so positive, if I'm honest. I've never been around somebody this is why I think we became such good friends, because he loved these characters. He'd spent so much time on them, and I just think we happened to hit something that he was just so happy with the way it came out, that he was just very excited to work with a director who's really liking your work is always the thing you want to do. And you couldn't sit there and go, this is what I'm unsure of, and really wanted to go into detail, and that's the kind of way I like to work as well. So it just was like that. Knowing someone is really excited about what you're doing and really going into depth with it. I think that, I know it sounds like a generic answer, but it's not. I say it's not.
That's great you're doing that. Anybody else? I've seen you before. I'll see you next. Okay.
Hello. We've seen Lara feature in many other games as a guest character, like in Fortnite or Call of Duty or Brawlhalla. Do you see Kurtis feature in any third-party games? Are there any games that you want to see Kurtis being featured in?
Any. Yeah. I of course I do. I do. I mean, but it's like just the chance to do it again would be thrilling. I mean, I really hope that they do. I hope that the remaster and the relaunch and the interest, if it's there. I mean, I've seen, of course, I've watched people's point of views on the remaster, and it still seems like a lot of things were fixed. Some of them weren't. And it kind of thinks like, I think the pressure, there's a new, Asper, I think, is doing it now, isn't it? Yeah. They got a lot of money. So I think they need to be pushed to do it. I can't push them. So I'm just, I don't know who else could, but.
They need to be pushed to say there's a marketplace here, there's people demand for it, and whatever it is, it's like, yeah, third-party game or whatever, but, I think it would be great to see what Murti's initial and original ideas were.
I think that would be the most exciting thing.
Technically, Kurtis is in Fortnite in some way, shape, or form, because they bought Angel of Darkness Lara as a skin, and the weapon she uses is yours.
Oh, really? Which one?
It's on the insignia that's on the shirt, on the front of the actual shirt.
I didn't realize that. Sorry, I didn't realize that.
And also you pop up, I think it's 2 way to reload it. As well, little mobile game where you.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw the pictures of that.
Yeah, I think some of the 3 Kurtis stuff down there.
Yes, that looks familiar. Yeah.
Too, yeah. So. Any other questions? You there? Sorry.
Hello.
First of all, I'd say Angel of Darkness is one of my favourite Tomb Raider games. It felt like I was in a movie with all those cutscenes.
Oh, that's
I really
great.
felt the connection between Kurtis and Lara. So my question is, what was your favourite scene to do, either by yourself or with Janelle?
I think it was the first ones where we first meet each other. There was, that was the beauty of us being face to face. It's just, there was a lot of, you can feel it in the game. Like, I know it, but just trying to suss out what's going on with the person and at the same time thinking, oh, this person's interesting, but I'm going to do. I think that scene was exciting to do, from what I remember.
You both did it very well.
Oh, thank you.
Really good. I have one very quick second question.
Yeah.
Do you ride a motorbike?
That's a good. I'd like to say yes. When I got cast years ago, and I said I could ride a motorbike, and and it was to ride these old Nortons, and I basically took out some guy's motorbike, and I was riding it to try and learn how to do it, because I had to go out there and ride these and pretend I was like a really good rider. And they said, you have to take this other actress on the back of the bike. And I just thought, I can't cheat that one. And I panicked and I got out of the gig, which is a shame because it would have been awesome. But I thought I'd know. So the answer is, not really. I'd like to. In my head, I did.
We've just got time for one more question, and then that'll be it. So.
Hi.
Hello.
I was just wondering, if they added Kurtis into Fortnite, would you buy his skin? And would you play? And would you win?
I definitely win. It's just a matter of...
What's your favourite colour?
What's my favorite?
Colour.
My favorite color?
Yes.
That sounds like a trick question. I don't know. Maybe blue, sky blue,
That's a good one.
I think.
So you would buy his skin?
I would. I would force my kids to buy it.
Okay. Thank you.
Or I'd buy it for them. I think
That's
it's
a fantastic question to end on there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.
Everybody.
Can I just say, if you really do help us with Shadow Histories, I would be so thrilled, and we'll just have a huge party.
Oh yeah. All right. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.